Governments across the country have pledged to end violence against women and children in Australia within a generation. The pledge is at the centre of a new 10-year national strategy being released today. Political reporter Tom Lowrey joins us now from Parliament House in Canberra. Tom, g'day. So what does this strategy look like?
Yeah, Joe, it sets out that really ambitious target that you mentioned there to end violence against women and children across Australia within a generation. It doesn't put a specific sort of timeline on that. It doesn't set out, say, 10 or 20 years, but it simply sets out that intention that the children of this current generation and the children that come after them will not see the same violence that so many do around Australia at present. It's made more ambitious because it acknowledges that the previous national strategy that was in place that covered the previous 12 years failed to meet its key target of seeing a significant and sustained change in that positive direction. This new plan sets out that violence against women and children is endemic across Australia. That's the language that it uses, and it sets out 4 key areas of investment and improvement that it wants to target. Those are prevention, early intervention, response, and recovery and healing is the 4th one, which is something that has attracted some attention. There have been advocates calling for some time to see more attention being placed in that direction. The plan doesn't set out key targets, which was a key criticism of the draft plan, that there weren't these targets in place so that, success could be very directly measured. But the plan does say that those targets will be set. It says as action plans are developed and as measures are put in place, there will be key targets that are put in place alongside those. Here's the Minister, Amanda Rishworth, discussing how those sorts of targets are going to be set.
It show a number of things that could be indicators that are measured in the 4 different domains, and I think that gives a bit of a flavour to people reading it about how we might get data.
Joe, one of the key questions around all this is funding. And now it's not clear at the moment if there is going to be new funding alongside this national strategy in the coming budget in a couple of weeks' time. But the Minister has said that as action plans are developed, there will be investment that comes alongside them. But she's also made the point that she doesn't want to see funding going into strategies, into plans that haven't worked in the past and have been demonstrated not to bring success.
So, Tom, it sounds like there are heaps of worthy statements in and around this and associated with this, but what's the actual substance to this?
Look, Joe, it's a range of different things, and I think a lot of that is still to be in some way worked out. As the Minister said, there's going to be sort of action plans that are put into place, an assessment of strategies, assessment of work that's already underway as to what's working and what's not. As I mentioned, the Minister has said there has been funding and action going in a bunch of different directions that haven't delivered the results that needed to be seen. That 12-year strategy that was in place didn't meet that key sort of target of seeing a sustained downward sort of trajectory in violence against women and children around the country. So it's going to be sort of a broad assessment of the work that's already underway to see what is working and what's not. And from there, you'll see those sort of action plans rolled out over the next decade to try and bring this kind of change. But it's working with advocates, it's working with communities in particular, it's working with police and others who are involved in this space as well to figure out what's working, direct that investment there and move away from what hasn't been working in the past.
Okay, Tom Lowrey there in Canberra.